What's up, guys? I'm the fantasy captain. I'm here today to just talk about my top 5 favorite fantasy football analysts slash shows that are on YouTube that you can watch and it'll help you throughout the season. There's a few that I want to talk about that aren't in the top 5, but they're worth mentioning. The first one is Fantasy Couch. This guy is really smart. He knows his stuff. The thing that I mainly listen to him for is like DFS lineups. He's pretty knowledgeable, so check him out. He's at 22,000 subscribers. Next one is Harris Football. He's at 18,000 subscribers. What I like about this guy is he shows film to break down a lot what he's trying to explain about a player, and especially on like a new upcoming player, I like to see footage of him and highlights, and it's the best way to learn about a player is do they pass the eye test, how do they look, and he's really good at incorporating that into his channel. Another one is on the Fantasy Sports Network is the Fantasy BFFs, Fantasy Best Friends Forever, Frank Stanfield and Greg Sussman. I like Frank. He's the fantasy superhero. He's for me, he's the more knowledgeable one on that channel or on that show. So at number 5, we got the Fantasy Headliners. This guy, he's pretty knowledgeable. He puts on good shows. He's at 24,000 subscribers. Every time I go to this channel, he's growing pretty quickly. Cool thing, he answers tons of questions. That's the best thing about his show. Like he has a bit where he puts on like a tiny football helmet and he just rapid fires question after question. I think it's for 2 minutes or 5 minutes. I can't remember how long, but you'll learn a lot from him. So Fantasy Headliners, check him out. Number 4, I gotta go with the Goon Squad over in the Fantasy Sport Network. More specifically is Jim Day. Jim Day is one of the most knowledgeable players analysts when it comes to fantasy football. You can trust him. He does so much research. You can just tell. He explains everything. He has a reason why. He's not just saying things. Jim Day he's given me advice. He's responded to my questions in the chat. Another really cool thing about Jim Day is on the Fantasy Sport Network, even though it's not his show, he's always in the chat room just answering questions, tons of questions. He's an awesome guy. I love Jim Day. He's cool. Check him out for sure. Okay, at number 3, my guy Dane Martinez, Spittin' Speeds. This guy puts on a show. This guy, he's very entertaining, super knowledgeable. This guy does his research. He's on every Tuesdays and Thursdays on the Fantasy Sport Network. So yeah, Fantasy Sport Networks, and then look for the Fantasy Freestyle. He's awesome, man. Like I said, he puts on a good show, and great advice, Okay, number 2. Oh, Dilly. Number 2, I gotta go with Jake Seeley. He probably is the most well-known and respected fantasy football analyst, and his rankings are respected. He the only thing I don't like about him is he's a little harder to find on YouTube. Right now, I think he's on the Pat Mayo show mostly. He used to be on Fantasy Sports Network, but he's on the Pat Mayo show. He's on which is on the DraftKings channel on YouTube. But he is probably the single most knowledgeable fantasy football expert out there. So you can learn a lot from him. My number 1, my first fantasy football show that I've ever watched was the Fantasy Footballers. And they are at how many? They're at 116,000 subscribers, which is, I'm pretty sure, is the top amount for any fantasy football show. especially on YouTube. They give great advice. The thing is, like, there's three of them, so they're all inputting their opinions, and they don't always agree, which is fine. You know, you get three different perspectives. They're also 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. If I were to rank them, the three of them, I probably would rank Jason number one, Mike number two, and Andy number three. But they're all, you can learn a lot from all of them. They have good perspectives. And the Fantasy Footballers website, they have their own rankings, their consensus rankings, and they have like a who to start over who tool. So it's really helpful when sometimes you can't decide on a player. You know, just go to their website, and it helps you out a lot. But yeah, those are my top 5, or really my top 8 fantasy shows to watch. And one thing I want to do with my channel is, you know, I respect all of their opinions and advice and just their knowledge. I watch all of them pretty much daily. You know, I make time for each show most of the time, and I just want to incorporate all the knowledge that I learned from them and advice, and just give my own advice, you know, based on everything that I've learned and everything I watch. I have the NFL Sunday ticket, so I pretty much watch every game, every Sunday, every Thursday, every Monday. My work schedule is like, I'm off during any football games. So yeah, I'm gonna keep doing my research and learn, and I'm gonna try to pass it on to everybody. So just make sure you subscribe to me too, and I'll do the best I can to help you guys out. All right.